Walter Moon, who's 59 from Spalding, was found guilty at the Old Bailey of shooting 29-year-old Claire Johnson outside her home last November. The Bury St Edmunds MP, Eldon Griffiths, today strongly attacked the Labour Party for dragging the police into politics. He was speaking in Cambridge, where he gave his full backing to the leader of the Police Federation, Leslie Curtis, who said the police might be unable to serve the public under a Labour government. Mr Curtis was heavily criticised for his comments and accused of politicising the police, but Mr Griffiths says the blame for that lies with the extremists in the Labour Party. The unemployment total in the region rose by over 13,000 in September. There are now just under 270,000 people in the region claiming unemployment benefit. The main reason for the increase is the ending of many seasonal jobs and the rise in the number of school leavers without work. Around 450 school children in the region are to have their O-level examination papers remarked following a complaint from an Ipswich headmaster. 37 pupils at the Chantry High School in Ipswich were awarded higher grades for their English language O-level papers after the head wrote to the examination board saying the original results were much lower than expected. On top of those given higher marks, 12 children who originally failed were awarded passes. A spokesman for the Associated Examination Board says it appears one of the examiners might have been a bit severe, and all the papers he marked will be re-examined. He said the children involved are from 6 schools in the region. The Prime Minister has intervened to support Southend Council's plan to restore the town's pier, which was badly damaged by fire 10 years ago. The work will cost £1.3 million, a figure that the Department of the Environment claimed would take the council over their spending limit. But Mrs Thatcher has stepped in, agreeing that the money should be spent, considering it's coming from the insurers of the pier. Work should start in 2 weeks. Well, that's the news, and finally a look at the weather. And rain and strong easterly winds will spread across the region by dawn. Tomorrow will be dull and wet with strong to gale force easterly winds. The outlook for Saturday, well, it'll be unsettled with squally showers. And that's the regional news and weather.
Anglia, the region's ITV. Some programmes for Friday night. At 7:30, play your cards right.
What do you think?
Higher.
What do you think?
Higher.
Higher than an 8? You say a 9? No. What do you think now?
At 8, Me and My Girl. Richard O'Sullivan plays the father's role in school.
Yes.
At 8:30, We Love TV. Viewers and celebrities test their television knowledge with questions from Gloria Honeyford. And at 9, crime reporter Mitch investigates when a police informant names his man.
You're nicked.
Well, Nick.
Mr. Supergrass. I didn't know he was still at it. Like a bloody kettle, never stops singing.
Mitch at 9. Some programmes for Friday night on Anglia, the region's ITV.
Hey, is he with you? That's right. How did you get him to Paris with you, then? He came free with a packet of Persil.
That wonderful Persil British Rail free train ticket offer is back again. Buy one ticket and get another one free to take anyone you like anywhere in Britain, or lots more cities in Europe.
What's the catch? I've got to take him home with me as well.
I'm Chris Courtney of North Walsham. Buy a new Vauxhall Opel or used car from Courtney's and I promise never to turn my back on you.
All Park & Knoll prices cut by 20% on all lounge suites and easy chairs in Stradishall quality Draylon at Wallace King Shops and Home City Ipswich this weekend.
Down to the right, back,
No preservatives.
forward and right.
No added colouring.
Back, left and
No
forward.
artificial flavouring.
Stretch.
Far fewer calories than most breakfast cereals. Kellogg's All Bran. You're eating natural wheat bran with its own nutty taste and the original high-fibre breakfast cereal. Eat yourself fitter, not fatter, with Kellogg's All Bran.
Good.
Fly Concorde from £149, champagne reception. Concorde Memento, details from M&M Leisure Centre, Mildenhall 714095.
Now, Hitachi colour televisions and stack systems with instant credit.
Switch on to Hubbard's.
We're electric.
Who hands you unbeatable cleaning power with the new Sensortronic range? Hoover. Who better?
Get into the crunch.
Get into the crunch. So crisp, so light. That's those dairy crunches, chunky slice.
Hello again. Poets and a painter occupy us today. First, the painter. Now, if you mount an exhibition of your work and declare part of it to be, quote, an exploration of your own sexuality, it's apparent to a pinch of Prussian blue that you'll come up against people who think that sexuality is territory which shouldn't be charted in public. This happened to David Housden when he had a show at the Wisbech and Fenland Museum Gallery. On advice, he reluctantly agreed to remove some of the works, but the shock horror publicity excited certain people to come running to see the spaces where the naughty pictures had been and to take a prurient peek at the rest. But there's more to the man than his sexuality, isn't there?
Shadows, light and Mary. These are the three ingredients recorded time and time again by Wisbech artist David Housden.
That's lovely. Thank you, Mary. That's great.
From camera to canvas, they are transformed into evocative images of the night. What is the source of his motivation?
I feel desperately the need to be creative. And no matter what condition I wake up in the morning after a late session, I can literally stagger in here. If there's something on the canvas that I've achieved the day before, it gives me a sense of meaning and purpose, which I think I would otherwise lack.
The town centre of Wisbech is transformed too into a pictorial statement about the street life of the adolescent and the unemployed. With Mary as his model, David looks for suitable locations in his hometown. He is drawn to the dark passageways and sombre places concealed among the back streets.
Okay, Mary, I'm going to take one closer up now. Okay? Okay, Mary, I'll get the tree in as well. Above your head, that's it. That's great. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Earlier work features the skull as a potent symbol of destruction.
Around about the age of 20, while at college, a lot of effect of the times, the late 60s and the music, everything, a big time of change and development for me personally and in the world generally. And I felt then a very deep need to express myself and my feelings about the world. And I think I began to develop my ideas that are now very prominent in my work. I went to my first teaching post in Wembley. I then decided that I must take my artwork very seriously indeed. And I asked the headmaster if I could decorate the sixth form common room with a mural. It's a 20-foot by 8 piece of work in 5 8x4 blocks, largely autobiographical, with the final sequence being a very significant piece for me, because it was technically the biggest advancement I'd made so far, and it was recognised as such by the people that worked with me, and I was very, very proud of that. That was the death sequence when I first used the world skull image. And it became a very long project. It actually took me 2.5 years. After I completed my 2.5 years on the mural in London, my parents came to pick me up, and I was literally, I don't mind admitting this, clinging on to this picture with tears running down my face and my father pulling me away. I had to leave it behind, and it meant so much to me. It was like leaving a part of myself behind. I was growing tired of city life, and I wanted to move out to a quieter sort of atmosphere. My brother was a social worker in the Fens. He had found a job and a house out in Gorefield, Hill House, which features fairly heavily in my later work. Way out in the Fen, very exposed to the elements. We seem to have extremes of every weather you could possibly imagine in the first 3 years. And I used to wander around late at night with my camera, and I'd got this sort of warm feeling of security from looking back at the house. And that seemed to affect me so deeply that I wanted to start producing pictures which would illustrate my feeling about this sort of warmth and security that I feel somehow some people find night a very scary thing, but for me it gives me a security, and I think psychologically I associate that with the time that I can express myself, so I feel more utterly me than at any other stage during the day. I find night much more atmospheric and much more dramatic, and I can make more exciting, dramatic images with it.
A prolific artist, his ideas spring one from another. One series of paintings explored themes of decadence and depravity.
The Alleyways series developed as a backdrop, as a kind of vehicle to express various ideas about society. It brought in various themes such as unemployment, prostitution, rape, and other sort of very contentious issues that I felt I needed to say something about. That I'm like a sponge, if you like, absorbing all this sort of what's happening in society through the media, through everyday experiences, through what you see around you. And I soak that up, wring it out, and produce a show of work. I'm then thrown back into this slightly soiled, dirty water that is society, and once again begin to absorb the influence.
Down the telegraph road.
Whenever David exhibits, he is guaranteed publicity. His notoriety is due to a small number of his paintings in a series which concerned sexuality. But neither adverse publicity nor simple exhaustion will stop him working for long.
In a very stressful occupation, i.e. teaching, it's very easy to come home in the evening and collapse completely. I have been known to do it. There are the dangerous influences of passive entertainment, i.e. TV, video, and so forth. And one's natural inclination is to think, there's a lovely film on tonight, I think I'll sit down and watch that. I have to fight that. I have to fight the desire to read the paper or fall asleep. I need so much, I need so desperately to do my work. I have to slot it in to whatever available time I have.
Having used the techniques of montage and acrylic, it seemed natural for him to experiment further. He has evolved his own method of construction, which brings his work into the realms of the three-dimensional.
I'd like to mention at this stage my art room scene, Teacher at Work, one of the more successful of the, what I call, acrylic construction technique. It's a kind of false three-dimension, if you like. The effect of the spot with the shadow that's cast can bring forward the figures, say in this instance in the foreground, and you can get a nice sense of depth going back. And I've actually laid in colour into the sky, then thought about what would happen next, which is the houses, then the windows, and we come forward all the time. It's a more solid reality.
Static, it hasn't got any movement or life in it. Have a look at some of these earlier. Okay, that's far too posy.
Well, that's what's wrong with that one.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not happy about that. Now that's much more like it, and that could look rather nice with the light.
She's more of a child.
It was one of the most dramatic changes in my life. It occurred in 1981. Previously, I'd had somewhat sour and unsavoury relationships. All the material in my paintings which required a model or whatever tended to either come from my imagination or from reference, and therefore was more a sort of sexual object. It lacked the humanity. Mary blew that humanity into my life. Since that moment in time, she's featured very heavily in my work, as I've been able to use her directly to organise the composition. In other words, if I needed to stand in a certain way in a certain place at a certain time, she can do it for me, wearing whatever is required. Mary had had so much impact on my life, I wanted to, in some way, describe those feelings and events, if you like. And I've developed a series of pictures, some 100 in number, which will go right the way through our relationship from its beginnings and beyond into the realms of fantasy. And some will be dreamlike sequences, such as Moonchild. Are you happy with your arms up like that? Is it really uncomfortable for you? There's a very strong element of fantasy in my work, which basically I can explain through the respect that I'm interested in creating powerful, dramatic images, and I find that the female form is one way in which I can express that kind of notion. The newer work all features Mary exclusively, so it's simply the effect of Mary, and I'm bringing that out in various pictures, which largely will be featured in the love paintings. But she does, in fact, model for all the schoolgirl pictures, including Smoker's Paradise at Fag's End, which is basically a St. Trinian-style joke, if you like. It's not really meant to be taken with any sort of serious intent. I've been accused of having a need to shock, but I normally argue that I'm interested in the exaggerating the idea in order to make it more powerful. Therefore, I try and take the image as such to the nth degree in order that there isn't a blandness about the work. I don't wish it to be ignored. I want people to react violently, either to love or to hate. I need that power in my work, and that's what I aim for. People are very ready to interpret you as a personality through what you're producing. What they don't seem to appreciate is that an artist can stand back and he can make these statements even if personally it does not necessarily reflect how he feels. So often I'm expressing something more exaggerated than I really feel it, so it gives people the wrong impression about me. It's very interesting to see how people react, but they definitely react to my work. It cannot be ignored. That's great, that'll be fine. Okay, that's good.
Wisbech, as you may never have seen it. The paintings of David Housden. Well, now think of a circus and what comes to mind? Bodies in spangled tights being swung through the air with the greatest of ease, figures tentative and tottering on a wire, jugglers keeping all manner of objects in the air at the same time, and clowns fooling around with whitewash and water. So what of the Circus of Poets? Well, they do the same sort of thing with words, throwing them about, making them balance, fall flat on their faces, and sit snarling on brightly coloured drums. And the words, well trained, obey. Roll up, to see and hear the circus, which describes itself as, quote, the intellectual equivalent of leg warmers. We might even find out what that means.
P-O-E-M. Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
It's not as bad as you think it might be, so come on now, come with me, everybody, it's all free.
Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
We don't all scan and we don't all rhyme. All we need is a slice of your time.
Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
We all like to rock and we all like to roll. A little bit of reggae and a whole lot of soul. So why not rock and rhyme, roll and rap, poetry, all that crap.
Who get down?
Right to the beat, right to the rhyme. Right, all the time.
Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
I'm just like you and you're just like me. Come on, let's all find poetry. It's not as hard as you think it might be. You and me and you.
You, me, a poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
Byron, Shelley, Keats and Blake, Dryden, Hardy, Pound,
okay.
Dylan, Thomas, Louis MacNeice, Robert Lowell, rest in peace.
Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
We're not all in books and we're not all dead, but we've all got poems locked in our heads, so
feel the words, pushing through like the shell of an egg. Oh, feel the words, Poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
This line does not rhyme. This line does not rhyme. This poem's at the end of the line. This poem's running out of time. Running out of time. Out of time. Out of
poems, poets, and poetry. Poems, poets, and poetry.
Poems, poets, and poetry.
The Circus of Poets, leaping through paper hoops with names like Dylan Thomas and Blake and Keats written all over the paper. Now, there are some of us, John Turner, who have a high regard for the works of people like Blake and Dylan Thomas. I mean, do you hold them in low regard?
No, not at all. I think they're wonderful. The reason we mention those poets is because those are the poets that I think most people have heard of. And what we're trying to do, really, is make the point that the kind of poetry that we do is really fun and boppy stuff. And the poets that we mentioned ties in with a great body of literature that go before us. That's the theory.
But this isn't the only kind of poetry performance you're involved in, is it?
No, Circus of Poets is just one thing that we do. We all do solo readings as well, and we all write poems of a more serious nature, and we've all got a collection or two out. So, I mean, we also do Versawagen as well, which is a sort of mobile writer's workshop. So we're very much involved in a very wide range of activity with poetry.
But the sort of poetry that Circus of Poets actually perform, when you look at it on the page, it would make a very, very slim volume. I mean, normally poetry comes in slim volumes. This kind of poetry would come in the slimmest volume of all. I take it it's not meant to be read.
No, it isn't. No, not at all, really. It doesn't work on a page, I don't think. It's written specifically for performance. When we first got together about 2.5 years ago, we decided to pen an hour show, all new material. We sat down and wrote stuff which we thought would sound good rather than look good on a page. In fact, really, what we need to bring out is an LP, isn't it? I think, rather than the slim volume.
Well, I hope the right people are listening. How did you actually come together?
Well, 3 of us met at Lung Bank, actually, which is part of the Arden Foundation. It's this residential writing place in the foothills of the Pennines in Yorkshire. It's great. You get there for 5 days, and there's a pub which very kindly stays open till all hours of the night. And there's professional tutors there, and you talk about writing, and you write, and you do nothing but write and eat and talk for 5 days. And it's a great stimulus, actually, for a writer who hasn't got very much confidence and wants to get on. And Ian, Martin and I met there, and then we started a writer's workshop together in Wath, which is a small town just south of Barnsley in Yorkshire. And then Dave came along to that a little while later, and we started going around pubs together, doing sort of readings in pubs, which is very strange indeed, it really was.
But did you come together for your own benefit, or did you come together for the benefit of poetry at large?
Well, neither really. We were asked to do it, you see, because there was a friend of ours who was organising the Workers' Education Association entertainment things in pubs, and so they'd have a folk singer, some Morris men, and us, the poets. So we turned up about 10 o'clock, and everybody had quite a few jars by then. So we decided what we better do was our funny stuff to get them laugh, because they wouldn't take the serious stuff at all. So we did, and we did that a few times, and it went down so well. And it gave us the idea to turn it into a show.
Right, well, it's time now for some more funny stuff. You're going to plunge me back into my youth with a poem called 1957.
Radio station BCCB WWT. Black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties, yeah. Black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties, yeah. Black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties, yeah. Black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties in 1957, 1957. Well, it must have been a heaven back in 1957 with a black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties. Rock around the clock and a doo-wop-wop. Wake up little Susie who, high school tops. The Duke, the Duke of Turles. He always got the girls in 1957. 1957, well, it must have been a heaven back in 1957 with a black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties, yeah. Summertime blues and a blue suede shoes, an old Ford pop and you're ready to cruise. A black leather jacket and a brill cream hair, a 2 pints of bass and you just don't care. In 1957, 1957, well, it must have been a heaven back in 1957 with a black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties, yeah. Going out the Palais on a Saturday night, dancing with your girl and hoping you might just get to walk her home, kiss in the dark. You don't feel the rain running through the park in 1957, 1957. Well, it must have been a heaven back in 1957 with black Chevy, Chuck Berry, white wall ties, yeah. 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 Did you see? Did you see? It was on last night on TV. Did you see? Did you see? OTTTOTP. Russell, Harty, Mark and Mindy, Father Charlie, pro celebrity. Did you see? Did you see? Whatever did we do before TV? Well, me, I stared at the wall happily, happily. Turn it up, turn it down, turn it over, turn it off. Wasn't it good? Wasn't it good? Call my bluff. County Hall, all creatures great and small. News at 10, Bill and Ben, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, Weatherman. Hot to hot, the weekly appeal. Oh, this is your life, it's never too late. Did you see? Did you see? It was on last night on TV. Contrast, brightness, all that money, license fee. What did we do before TV? Well, me, I stared at the wall happily, happily. Oh, did you see? Did you see? Simon Bates, Eddie Yates, Michael Parkinson, Rowan Atkinson, Melvin Bragg, Benny Hill, Bob Monkhouse, Mary Whitehouse, Alan Whicker, John McVicker. Weren't they good? I thought that they were ever so good.
Out of this world.
Turn it up, turn it down, turn it over, turn it off. Contrast, brightness, whatever did we do before TV? Well, me, I stared at the wall happily, happily. Did you see? Did you see? Bugs Bunny, songs of praise, black beauty, holiday, God's story, play for today, farming diary, stars on Sunday, so, what do you really believe? Weekend World, Sesame Street, Ivor the Engine, God help me! Did you see, whatever did we do before TV? Well, me, I stared at the wall, happily. Turn it up, turn it down, turn it over, turn it off.
Oh, I was enjoying that.
Me too. The Circus of Poets back in the cage. Who is Melvin Bragg, by the way? Well, that's it for this week. We are back next week with Folio. All we ask is, as the poem says, a slice of your time. Until then, goodbye.